The other thing with any of these alerts is there can also be email triggers on them. So even if you don't want to have your salespeople accessing the system itself, that's fine. They can be in the part of an email group. So if there is, for example, there's a change to an order or a change to a shipping schedule. Let's say that the product is going to ship out a week later than what we initially told the customer. Well, the sales rep, as soon as that change happens within the container, the sales rep can be notified right away. Say, this container shipping late, you might want to let the customer know, and they just get it in their email. And this way they don't even have to go into the system. So that's kind of the alerts, and that's another sort of more passive way that you can get salespeople involved without actually having them log into the computer and do all kinds of things. Sure.
I love the idea of the sales and being inactive on. But when you enter a bunch of customers, is it pushing through QuickBooks then? And then it's creating so much data? So this one of our hesitations.
I think
All these customers listed there. Customers.
I believe, Wendy, we only push the active customers to QuickBooks, right? Okay, yeah.
So it
can be inactive.
As a lead.
As a lead, yeah. And then they're not in QuickBooks. And then they only know QuickBooks when you activate. So that's the alerts. Now, a couple of reporting tools that most salespeople find useful. One of which is order history. So, in the snapshots view, or when we were looking at products and we were looking at customers, we talked about just seeing a history. Well, that's great and all, but there's no filtering ability, and there's no filtering ability on it. This order history report, for those who don't use it already, is pretty good. It allows you to pull up historical sales information and purchasing information. And the way I see most people run this is to either run it by customer or by product. So let me start by running it by product. So if I want to see, give me my total sales history on these 12-ounce cups. And we can put a date range on this. So if I want to say, how many 12-ounce cups did I sell last year? You can do that based on order date or based on ship date. Those are the different filters there. You can also say, only show me active transactions that I have. So if you check off that checkbox, that only shows me, give me my active transactions not yet shipped to the customer for these cups. Or you can say, only show me the shipped. So when we're looking at the history, don't show me anything active right now, only show me the shipped items. Or you can say, show me both. Give me both. So I'm going to say, give me both total sales history for these cups. So when we click the proceed button, then the results come out. Now, the nice thing here is this actually has totals, so it gives you totals in quantity and also totals in dollars. So these are our total dollars in sales for that product and our total quantity. But what I think most people might not know about, this little button right here actually brings you to a new report, which breaks it out by customer. So now we're looking at historical by year, how much have I sold to each customer, and it also gives you month columns. So if we look at 2012, for example, we sold these 12-ounce cups to Walmart, and we also sold them to Three Brothers. In total, how much did we sell to each customer? And then by month, how much did we sell to each other? And the idea here is this allows you to do some comparison and look at trends. So if I want to look at 2012 versus 2011, wait a minute, in 2011, customers were buying these in the spring. In 2012, we didn't have any sales in the spring. We only had them in the summer. Or you can kind of get a sense of, last year we did a ton of business with this customer. This year we're not doing as much. We need to follow up with that customer. He might be buying from someone else.
When you click on Excel, in our version, only the active year shows up.
That may, Wendy, do you know about this? Is this still the case? Or I do know about that bug. I don't know if that's actually resolved or not. But
It goes in Excel, and the active year only populates. And I guess one thing I'd like to see is to be able to take multiple years. If you bring up one customer, you show all products, and be able to sort that and have multiple years show the trend.
I think it looks like that bug has been resolved. I did know about that one, but it looks like it did pull out multiple years. And actually, Brad, you brought up something good too. I want to show it this way too. So instead of showing it by product, is to pull up by customer. So I guess that's how you do it. So if we do it by customer, and I know I have pretty good data for Three Brothers, so I'm going to say show me my total sales history for Three Brothers. And again, this first screen that comes up gives you totals down at the bottom, totals in dollars and quantities. And then if we say age by year, then same idea here, but now it's breaking it down. So for this customer, what items do we sell them? So in 2013, we have these 6 or 7 different items that we sold them, and totals by month, totals by product, and then you can kind of compare that against the previous year too. So I guess this is the way you look at it.
Not trying to Excel.
Let's see, go there.
That's sort of the spot.
So yeah, actually, it looks like it is pulling all.
Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't doing it before. That's a great tool to be able to watch trends. And you may have like busy year that was in 2010 because the economy, downfall of that customer. Now you can for 3 years and go back and see what trends are. So take a look at month by month. What they did 2010 versus 2015.
So how would you filter this then? By product? Once you're at this point, you would filter
I
it?
mean, yeah, just go. I would sort it by product.
Okay. Sort by product. That's it.
Sort it by product by year.
Okay. And then
Multiple years, and then it would pay across.
makes sense. So yeah, order history. If you're not already using order history, I'd say that's probably one of the better reports in the system. Also, there's the Explorers. So Release Explorer and Venture Explorer, for those who don't know, the idea is Release Explorer gives you sales side information, Venture Explorer gives you purchase side information. So if we're just talking sales for the moment, in Release Explorer, if I wanted to buy customer, say, show me everything that we have active for this customer that hasn't yet shipped, including open sales orders, things that have been allocated, and also things that are released to logistics. So you can just uncheck the shipped, select customer. I'll select Three Brothers here. And we'll say proceed. And this is full activity that we have going on right now for this customer. So if we wanted to, we could export this to Excel, email it to the customer, and just say, here's what we show as open right now. Here's when you can expect deliveries. You can drill down into, if there has been a delivery created, you can drill down into the delivery to look at the paperwork. If you want to look at the invoice and the packing list documents, you can do that as well. So that's the Release Explorer. The other one, on the purchasing side, is also a pretty good sales tool. It's called Venture Explorer. So this is the different statuses that a venture could have. It could be an open POs, which generally means that the container's been loaded but hasn't actually shipped yet. It could be in transit, or it could be in the warehouse. So if you wanted to pull this up by product, for example, you could. I'm going to say, show me everything we have going on for a particular product. Or what I was going to show you too is, if you click this advanced search option, then it loads a whole other section of possible filter criteria down here at the bottom. And one of the ones I like is to pull up by customer. So if you want to just say, show me all inbound transactions that we have that are pre-allocated to this customer, then you can select the customer. Or if the customer's on the phone and they want to know the status of an order, they give you the PO. You can come in here and just enter the customer PO number, and it'll pull up what the status of that particular venture is. So that's Venture Explorer. That's another one that gets used quite often. For those that don't use product position, it's also that's another good sales tool. I know it's used by logistics people as well. But product position gives you by product sort of forecasted position as to what your availability of that product is going to look like, forecasted out into the future. So if I choose those cups again, and I'll say proceed, this is going to load an Excel report, which takes a minute to load. But the way this works is, so what we're saying here is, for this specific product, I want to know, what do I have on hand? What do I have on the water, and what do I have coming in, and what will my inventory position look like in the future? So everything within this section here, this red section, these are inbound transactions, one row per venture. So it'll give you the vendor who shipped it, the venture number, and then the status of that venture. So if you wanted to actually filter this and say, only show me things that are in the warehouse, you can check that drop down, and then you have these options to filter. So if you can say, I only want to see what I have in Charleston, for example, when I'm looking at my inventory position. And you just select the warehouse that you want to see, and it filters everything else out. I'm going to go back and say, show me everything that's inbound, and then it brings back everything inbound. Now, as far as color coding goes, let's see, there's lots of different colors here. If it's in green, if the venture shows up in green, that means that venture's been allocated or final matched, whatever term you use. If it shows up in pink, that means it's been pre-allocated. So if you wanted to say, when you're looking at what your inbound picture is, if you want to say exclude anything that's already been allocated or exclude anything that's been pre-allocated, you can uncheck these options here, and then it removes those from your totals. So now your picture is much different, because if you have situations where you're shipping direct to the customer, you probably don't really want to consider that inventory part of your available inventory. So that's why you uncheck those. By the way, if this shows up in black, that means it's late, or it's past due. Down here is your sales picture, your outbound picture. So in this case, it's one row per sales order, or to be more exact, it's actually one row per release. So this gives you the status of that release and when the customer's expecting the delivery. So if we look at May, for example, we can get a sense of our inbound picture in the month of May is we have 1,200 cases coming in. We have 200 cases going out. So our long short for May is plus 1,000. We have 1,000 more coming in than we have going out. But I think the key number is this one here, the long short cumulative position, meaning when we factor in what we have on hand now, plus what we have coming in, minus what we have going out, what will our inventory position look like at the end of May? And that's what that number represents. And this is what it would represent at the end of June or the end of July. So the idea is, if you see this number dip into a negative 3 months from now, well, you may still have time to address that problem. You may still, depending on what your lead times are, you may still be able to address that problem. So this is how you can kind of get a picture of forecasting out in advance what your inventory position is going to look like. So that's another pretty useful sales tool. As far as selecting the columns don't have to be months. They can be quarters, they can be exact days, or they can also be weeks. I think you guys use the weeks one. So if months is too big of a picture, if you want to look at it on a weekly basis, you can look at it on a weekly basis instead. So those are probably the most easily accessible, easy to use reporting tools. Now let's talk about the CRM functionality, or what we refer to in this system as pre-order processing. So the idea here is any communication that's taking place with customers or communication that's taking place with suppliers before an actual order is being placed is going to be managed in the pre-order processing section. So let's kind of walk through an example here of an inquiry. So a customer calls up and they want pricing on a product. They want to know how much it would be to order 500 cases of cups. So I'll go in here and I'm going to create an inquiry. First tab that comes up is the Notes tab. So if this is an email, what I usually suggest to people, just copy and paste the email right in here. If it's a phone conversation, maybe just notes from the phone conversation.